day, everyone, and welcome to the seventh edition of Editor Session. This is a project of Carmudi Philippines and Zigwills Philippines, as we try to catch up with the movers and shakers of our automotive industry. Uh, I am Cap Maceda Aguila, editor of Carmudi Philippines and Zigwills Philippines, and I'm very privileged to welcome our guest today. He's Mr. Edward Joseph, or EJ Francisco, Assistant Vice President for Communications of Ford Philippines. First off, thank you very much, EJ, for accepting this invitation, and looking forward to our little chat with you today.
Sure. Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, Cap, and thanks for having us. I hope you're all well, and of course, to all your viewers, I hope everyone's safe at this time, at this very challenging time. And again, thanks for having us here at Ford Philippines.
All right, so let's get right to it. First off, how has Ford been in this new normal? Well, not so new normal anymore. Maybe you can walk us through first during the time of the hard lockdown. I know that this probably you've been probably asked this question so many times now, but could you at least give our audience a semblance or a sense of how it was for Ford Philippines dealing with this pandemic?
Yeah. So thanks for the question. As most manufacturers also in the Philippines, the Ford Philippines has also been affected by this lockdown. Although we were, as the days go by, we kind of get to really adjust to the things that are happening around us. So at the start of the ECQ, actually, you were asking about how it panned out. So since March 16, when the government actually declared this enhanced community quarantine, Ford Philippines, our employees particularly, and as well as our on-site contractors, we have started to go in our work from home arrangement to ensure, of course, the safety and protection of our employees. So this work from home arrangement isn't actually very new to Ford. So it was quite easy for all of us to adjust. We have what we call the telecommuting policy in Ford Philippines, which allows all our employees to actually work remotely once a week. So that's a program that we have in place. So this is not something that is new to us. We were able to adjust quite easily to this work from home arrangement. And of course, all our employees, we have been provided the necessary work tools, such as laptops and of course our connection and mobile phones for field personnel and of course senior managers and our executives. And of course, to keep our employees informed of business updates, we have also conducted, starting March all the way until now, regular virtual town hall sessions and even virtual catch-up meetings with our team leaders or with our teams. So that was something that we've kept in place to make sure that all our employees are pretty much safe in their homes, as well as also updated with what's happening in the business. For our dealers, you've also asked that question. Actually, our dealers, at the start of the quarantine, of course, they have also temporarily closed showrooms, also in compliance with the regulations of the respective LGUs. And of course, to also protect the safety and the welfare of our customers as well as our employees. So in the absence of a physical showroom, actually, our dealers, of course, still kept to their business and have started to engage their customers through their own websites, social media accounts, and hotline numbers. And it was also an opportunity for most of their sales and service consultants to also really reinforce their presence online, particularly on Facebook. So we see a lot of them really strengthening their social media presence because there was really a lack of presence physically in the showrooms. And of course, business had to continue on. But definitely there was a lot of impact with regard to volume and even traffic. So that's what pretty much our dealers also started to do during the quarantine camp. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that. I noted what you said earlier, that the work from home arrangement or telecommuting isn't new to you guys anymore, and that I think that's probably an advantage for you guys. But what was it fairly easy for, of course, telecommuting or working from home before and working from home during the lockdown? Those are two actually different animals. Was it fairly easy for the organization to adjust to this new normal when practically everyone had to work from home?
Yeah, there was some adjustments, no, that needed to be made because, as you mentioned, it's different. Before, our telecommuting policy is just once a week, but now what happened was all days of the week you're actually working from home. So there had to be some adjustments that, of course, that needed to be made. We also need to make sure that at least for the first month or first month and a half, we had daily check-ins with our employees just to make sure that in terms of their work, there was an uninterrupted work. We also had to check daily, if they have stable internet connection, and if they had something else that they need on a daily basis, that was being checked and evaluated. Again, as mentioned, on a daily basis. So there was an adjustment. Of course, meetings also need to be virtual. Of course, conversations like this, we had to adjust. Of course, we have our WebEx conferencing facility that's in place at Ford to make sure that we are conducting meetings in a very safe and secure manner as well. That's something internal to our systems that we have in place. This allows us to also conduct regular meetings with our colleagues, abroad in other markets, which is also very important for a global company such as Ford. So these are things that we needed to be adjusted. And of course, conversations happen almost on a daily basis to make sure that while the physical contact or the physical connection is not there, we need to make sure that we need to kind of work doubly hard to make sure that everyone's in one page, everyone's in the same direction, moving on the same direction. And I guess the key there is constant communication with one another to make sure that, while we are not physically present, we cannot physically connect with each other, we are still there to really support our work goals and priorities that we have on hand.
All right, well said. Now, you mentioned that even if you couldn't like see each other physically or be at the office physically, of course, work was being done in the safety of your own homes. Now, one of the things that we noticed also that Ford Philippines and actually a number of auto brands during the time of the hard lockdown and up to this time, a lot of them were involved in causes, CSR, if you will, such as helping COVID-19 frontliners, particularly medical frontliners. Now, can you share with the public what you guys were up to during that time to of course to do your part in helping our brave frontliners?
Yeah, thanks for that question. As definitely the responsibility or the care is not just confined within our employees, our dealer partners. We also have at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we also are able to extend a helping hand to communities that we serve. No, so you're right about that. That Ford has also contributed and has also done a lot of social responsibility efforts to make sure that we are able to serve the communities and make an impact in the ways that are possible, in ways that we can do to the community. So, for example, one of the things that we've done in this hard lockdown was, that we also lend out vehicles to media partners, and in the interest that we cannot do that as early as March and April during the lockdown, what we did was these media lend out vehicles were instead lent out to partners and to other organizations. So what we did was for Ford Transit, which is our van, our van, what we did was we've actually partnered with Lifeline 16911, which is an organization that really helps in the delivery of medical services. Of course, we also recognize that during that time there was probably little to no transportation at all during the lockdown. No? So what we did with our Ford Transits was we made sure that as a people mover, we were able to really get the purpose of that, to something that is worthwhile. So again, as mentioned, our Ford Transit, we have lent it for almost 2 months to Lifeline 16911 to make sure that we are able to move people, their volunteers, from one place to the other, from one point A to point B, to make sure that they're able to also facilitate medical delivery. We've also lent out another Ford Transit van to Asian Hospital in Muntinlupa, which is very close to our corporate headquarters, also to facilitate people movement of their healthcare workers, medical frontliners. Because again, we recognize that public transportation at the time wasn't available. So our transit was lent to Asian Hospital as well to make sure that people had a ride to get to from a pick-up point to the hospital and back to the pickup point at the end of their work operations. Of course, our built Ford Tough Ranger pickups were also lent to several organizations. We've actually partnered with San Miguel Foods, San Miguel Corporation, for our Ford Ranger to actually transport baked products, their baked products to various frontliners, may it be in the hospitals, even in government organizations. No? So we've actually used the capability of the Ford Ranger pickup to make sure that delivery, because of the vast cargo space that it has, we're able to use that space to really transport baked products and food to all these frontliners, given that, again, there was a great need for us to do that. We've also partnered with several hospitals and donated medical supplies such as alcohol, surgical face masks, and latex gloves to various hospitals. No, this is part of our mission to really, to also be able to contribute in our own little way in making sure that the medical frontliners are protected during their delivery of the services that they need to provide to patients of COVID-19. Internally, actually, it's also good news that we've also ran an employee donation match initiative that actually will benefit underprivileged families in Gawid Kalinga communities in Visayas. So this is an employee donation match where we've actually mobilized not just our own employees, but actually foreign employees around the world, no, to really get together and donate in any amount that is convenient and possible for the employees to really get together and actually have this donation drive. And what Ford Fund will do is actually match that donation and really donate that amount to a non-government organization. And we've actually worked with Gawad Kalinga for this particular program. And of course, just recently, a few weeks ago, we've also donated 10,000 face shields to the Department of Health and to the Department of Trade and Industry. These face shields will be used by a number of their frontliners to definitely protect them in their delivery of medical services to COVID-19 patients. These face shields, it would be nice to know for everybody, are actually made by our own employees in our Ford manufacturing plant in Thailand, which is the same manufacturing plant that produces the Ford Everest and the Ford Ranger that we sell here in the Philippines. So it's actually made by Ford, and this has passed a very stringent measures by the Health Ministry of Thailand before it was shipped here. So we made sure that these face shields are safe to use by our frontliners here in the Philippines. So those are some of the initiatives that we've done to really help our communities in our own little way at Ford Philippines, Cap.
It's very good to note, and the fact that it's a worldwide effort for you guys. It all ties in together, like that matching program you said. It's very nice to know that it isn't just Ford Philippines that's doing something, but you are part of a global effort of Ford itself, right?
That's correct. It's actually, as you mentioned, it's a worldwide effort. What markets do there, different markets, such as, of course, the Philippines, they partner with several non-government organizations. We work with Gawad Kalinga to help us do that, to really determine which of the areas here really need our support. And we've identified one particular area in the Visayas to be able to use the funding that we're going to get from this initiative to be able to provide food, which is definitely the most needed, essential at this time. So that is really where the funding is going at this time. Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Okay, now we move on to the GCQ phase of the lockdown. Now that a lot of, well, most dealerships are allowed to be open right now
Mm-hmm.
and realize business, of course. For those who haven't actually gone to their dealership or Ford showroom of choice, can you walk us through what how differently the experience would be like?
Yeah. So now that most areas now are GCQ and MGCQ, although of course we recognize that Cebu City and some other areas in Region 7 were reverted back to ECQ. But I guess most of the areas now that are in GCQ and MGCQ, our dealerships are now open and operational. No, but then again, before they had actually opened to the public, what we've actually done with them was we have worked with our global offices and counterparts at Ford to be able to actually be to have a return to work playbook. This playbook actually tells us, that we need to observe all these safety and sanitary measures in the showrooms. So this is our Bible now as we operate, so to speak, into the new normal. No, that we need to be able to conduct business in a very safe and sanitary manner. So again, as mentioned, our dealerships now are actually implementing a lot of these initiatives in terms of making sure that our customers actually are safe and protected. Not just our customers, but also our dealer employees. No, so we have this mantra, which is really safety first, to really maintain consumer confidence and peace of mind. No, showroom. So one of the initiatives, we have a lot of initiatives actually in our dealerships and in our showrooms. So definitely when you come by into a Ford dealership during these days, your temperature will be checked, no, with no touch infrared thermometers, of course, no contact. Our dealership floor and layout plan have also changed, including customer waiting areas to make sure that we observe social distancing. So you don't see all these chairs and seats very close to each other. Definitely, there is an observance of at least 6 feet away from each other. Or for all of our dealer personnel as well are required to wear face masks and gloves. Some actually are also wearing their respective PPEs. There's also a hazardous waste container on site for disposal of all masks, of all used masks and gloves and other potentially contaminated items to make sure that they're all properly disposed after a day's use. No shaking hands are allowed because, of course, part of the selling process that we have, of course, when you're able to successfully buy and purchase your vehicle, you will get to shake hands with your sales consultant. But now
So
that
what do
is
you do
not.
now in lieu of a handshake? What's the? Because I'm curious to know also. Is it a
Well,
distant
it
fist bump?
depends, no? Probably a fist bump or something like that. I don't know, just to make sure that that no physical contact is
Oh,
made,
yeah.
because also really protecting everybody as well. Definitely our customers and our dealer employees as well. Of course, all four dealerships are required to thoroughly disinfect the showrooms 3 times a day. No, so that is really meant to keep our showrooms clean and sanitized all the time. And in all our dealerships, there is provision for hand sanitizer dispensers and alcohol. You'll see that I've been to a Ford dealership recently a few days ago for work, and I've seen that hand sanitizers are all over the place to make sure that you get to you get to disinfect yourself as well for every transaction. Of course, some of our dealerships are also already into the space of providing cashless payments to make sure that of course, we know that physical money or cash also is, we don't want that. We don't want to touch those kinds of things as well, right? As we've seen in the news. So cashless payments are also being done in majority of our dealerships. We've also put this in place initiative called remote sales support. So if you feel like you don't want to go to a Ford dealership at this time, you feel like you don't want to go out, but you are interested to check out, a Ford vehicle at the comfort of your home, you can also reach out to us quite conveniently to make sure that we have our sales consultant on standby. he or she can call you and virtually connect with you and take a tour of the vehicle with you using technology, using a tablet technology or a mobile phone. And that's something that we can do for you if you feel like you don't want to go out just as yet, but you are interested to actually already see a vehicle up close and personal. And of course, vehicle sanitation is also something that we are doing on the service side. After every service visit, we are making sure that your vehicle will be not only serviced but sanitized before it's returned to you. So those are some of the measures that we've put in place, and we're very happy that our dealers nationwide are working together, because at the end of the day, it's really for the benefit of all.
Yes, well said, well said. Now you mentioned service, after sales service has resumed, right? And what I've heard is that this is across a lot of brands, that there was a pent up demand for servicing. Actually, like a number of vehicle owners had missed their PMS schedules and were of course excited to go back to their dealerships for servicing. How is it like in Ford? Are you asking them to set an appointment ahead of time? And then are you also what kind of experience is it now in your service areas? Like, because I know even during servicing that your technicians of course have to practice safe distancing and sanitation protocols, right?
That's correct. Well, service is definitely, something that a lot of our customers are looking forward to, especially that a lot of our dealerships have been closed for the last probably 2.5 months. Of course, when they all got back, some areas are still on MECQ, and if you recall what MECQ means, it means that 50% of the staff are only required to go. So it is actually building up. But yes, you're correct when you mentioned that we really encourage all our customers to actually schedule their service appointment ahead of time. This is also to protect them, that we don't have all 100 customers just coming in and walking in or at the service bay at the service appointment. We need to make sure that social distancing is also properly observed. So most of our dealerships now are really requiring or encouraging all our customers who need service with their vehicles to really book an appointment in advance, to make sure that we also can deliver service to you more efficiently, more safely, right? There is a technician that will actually attend to you, and you have a time. You actually get a specific time for your vehicle to be serviced. You don't have to wait for so long, right? Because we have strategically scheduled everybody at this time. No? So the booking of the service appointment allows us to deliver a more efficient service to all our customers. And we really encourage all our customers to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the word of the day is efficiency, right? I mean, this scheduling makes very good use of. I mean, the pandemic or COVID-19 aside, this kind of scheduling and booking appointments makes sense because it makes better use of time. You know.
That's true. Because again, this pandemic has really changed the way we do things dramatically, right? Operationally, we need to rethink how we can do things better and more efficient. Again, to what you just said, no, because not only are we, not only are we operating in the new normal, we also want to make sure that we protect all our stakeholders. That includes our customers, our contractors, our employees in our dealerships. So there's really a new way of doing things, and even constantly as we go along with the days, as even up to this day and time presently, we continue to really improve on how we do things, especially for our customers, and how we really can be more efficient and be more safe at the end of the day. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Uh, Now we're still talking about servicing. One of the concerns that car owners have been voicing out is that, of course, we know that this COVID-19 pandemic is a disruptive event, to say the least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do Should they be concerned about the availability of parts for even just minor repairs, let's say, or replacements, like those during PMS sessions or schedules?
Yeah, I think what we can commit to our customers at this time is that so far we're good with our parts supply and parts delivery. We have sufficient stock, right? Even before the pandemic, we know that we have sufficient stock of the parts that we need, right? The only concern that we have right now is, of course, we cannot do away with some delay shipping the parts to some of the provinces outside of Metro Manila, right? Because there can be some logistical issues. Again, as mentioned, we have some areas still that are now on that are still on lockdown. Some are on complete lockdown, like Cebu. So there are some issues with that, definitely in terms of parts delivery. It is not it is not the fault of the dealer, definitely, but it is really something that it's really out of our control, so to speak, because at the end of the day, our dealers are complying with government regulations in terms of whether to open or to close or to proceed with service. So there might be some delays in terms of shipment to the provinces, but again, we have sufficient stock of these parts currently. What we can also share now is that, of course, we also have implemented, even before the lockdown, our same day parts delivery in Metro Manila, especially now that we can commit and we can say that we have sufficient stock. A number of our Ford dealers in Metro Manila and nearby Manila provinces are actually implementing the same day parts delivery, and it'd be good for us to really reinforce our customers that parts not just issue but also delivery, parts not just stock but also delivery is something that they don't need to worry about, because we have put in place this program of same day delivery of our parts, especially in Metro Manila and nearby provinces. Now, for those parts that are pretty challenging to source, right? What we've done as early as in 2019, and our managing director, Uma Shankar, has also started to talk about this, where we started to use technology, a bot technology, to actually drive a faster and more efficient distribution process of parts of our dealers across the country. So, in a nutshell, what this technology does is that if we realize that this part that you're looking for is not available at this time and also in this market, this bot technology actually actually researches as to where can we source these parts and give you almost immediate feedback. So this cuts the time actually that we're able to determine where we can source these parts and how soon can we deliver this part to our customers. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a Google crawler or search for your parts, right? And that's nice. So
Yes,
you
yes.
can tell at a glance where that part is available, right?
Correct. That's basically the bot that we've put in place, because again, we recognize and we understand that there are concerns about parts availability, and we actually have made significant progress in that area already. Again, as mentioned, we have implemented our same day parts delivery, and that's something that will really allay the fear or the inconvenience that our customers will feel that they're going to get. But the same day parts delivery is now available in most Metro Manila dealerships and in outside dealerships, nearby dealerships of Metro Manila. So there's no need for us to fret for our customers out there about part stock. We have sufficient part stock. But if in case though those parts are not available, we have a technology now that allows us to really pinpoint which source can we derive the parts from, and allow us to determine how soon can we have these parts available in the Philippines.
Great, great. That's good news. I'm sure that a lot of your customers would be reassured with that. Um, okay, next, of course, you guys have I know that you guys have the distinction of being the first brand in the Philippines to digitally launch a product, and that was, of course, the new Ford Everest Sport. This was back in May 20 something. Is that right?
21 to be specific.
21,
21.
yes. All right, May
Yes.
21. So congratulations for that. And I know
Thank
also
you.
that you guys had been planning to launch this earlier, but of course, COVID
Correct.
happened. And but please let us know. Of course, number one, you guys obviously are still confident about the market with these launches. Later on, we'll get to the second launch, but let's talk about Ford Everest, at least briefly. The Everest, of course, is one of the more popular mid-size SUVs right now in the Philippines. So maybe what I'm trying to ask is, what have you seen in terms of buyer behavior? Are they ready to buy vehicles again in this new normal?
Well, I think to put it into context, we understand and we recognize, Cap, that definitely the purchase of car doesn't fall within that essential bracket or category. Of course, the essentials will always be food and medicines and vitamins and supplements and all that. No, but again, we recognize also that there are customers out there that are also ready to actually purchase vehicles. And if you come to think of it, actually nowadays that a lot of our customers are realizing that for you to be actually in terms of social distancing, we also see that for you to observe that social distancing, you need to also to have that confidence of driving your own vehicle, right? Because at the end of the day, we recognize that might be some people who won't feel like they're comfortable commuting using public transportation. So there is really, a community out there that are buying cars and vehicles. Although we know that the industry has been severely affected and impacted by this pandemic, and we see that in terms of recovery, it might take a while. Although what we're actually doing right here at Ford is really giving our customers and telling them that the industry is surviving, is thriving, and is ready to recover in the next few months. And we actually are doing that in terms of offering products and vehicles that they can actually experience and drive. And again, we have the Everest Sport. You mentioned about the delay of the launch. Yes, this had been planned as early as March, but then again, it was the pandemic that took the schedule away from us. So the Everest Sport actually is a new variant of the Everest family, and we understand and we recognize also that the Everest is one of course, the best-selling SUVs in the Philippines today. So we feel that offering another variant, the Everest Sport, is a good time when we launched it last month, and we continue to drive, inquiries, leads, and traffic, especially in the digital platform for this particular vehicle. Again, this is a family SUV that we're offering right here. Again, the Everest also stands in its position as one of the safest SUVs out there with all the technology that we offer with the Everest. So we're quite confident that, in terms of sales, we are really out there to really make sure that the Everest Sport, along with the other variants of the Everest, will actually be something that a lot of our consumers will want to drive and experience, not just now, but maybe in the coming months as well.
Yeah. Well said. I particularly note what you said about what I see are two different forces here, actually opposite forces here at work. You see one here that where people are probably a little more careful than usual about their spending, and for obvious reasons. And over here, you have the fact that public transportation is still severely hampered at this point, and we don't see anything major happening towards the opening of public transport. So who knows? Yes, this might just help drive up auto sales again, which of course a lot of us want to see. So well
Yep.
said. Now, of course, just a few days ago, we're gonna air this on a Monday, but this will be last week. Then last week we just again, you guys again went ahead and launched a very, very important model in your lineup. It's actually a comebacking model in your lineup, and that is the Ford F-150
That's a
series
nice
of.
photo.
Yes, it's from you guys, so it should be nice. So,
Yes.
yes, tell us about this. Please tell us about first of all, why bring it back? Why bring it back now? But maybe just to help us get started with the discussion. Of course, I asked Mr. Uma Shankar, your managing director, about this, and he said that you guys, of course, are rightfully so. You've been given a lot of confidence because of the smash hit that is the Ranger Raptor, right? So,
Yep.
with that as context or as a foundation, please discuss with us why you brought in the Ford 150 at this time?
Well, the F-150 actually was first introduced in the Philippine market, I believe in 1998, right? Where I was back in grade school. I don't know uh,
Don't
what
ask me what I was then. I
yeah,
think
what
probably in
year are you
kinder.
in? So there was already like a test of temperature 22 years ago. And then, of course, as the years went by, we have listened to the feedback. We get queries from customers, from dealers, when are you going to introduce or when are you going to bring back the F-150 again? And now is the best time. Now is the best year. Of course, we get questions also, no, from media friends, from media partners. It's really now the best time, in the age of a pandemic, no. I guess we can to your point, no. One of the things that we thought about was the success of the Ranger Raptor. For 2 years now, we still continue to drive home sales for the Ranger Raptor. We see a lot of news reports, comparing the Ranger Raptor with with other products, and we're very flattered with that because again, the airtime is there, the mileage is there, so you can see that they derive inspiration from the Ranger Raptor, and are very happy to have introduced that particular product, Ranger variant, in the Philippines. So that to what our managing director said, no, and I take off from that the Ranger Raptor really drove the inspiration, and for us to really push the introduction of the F-150 back again. So 22 years later, here we go again with the F-150 because we understand that there is really a market, not necessarily a big market just as yet, but a growing pickup market. In the interviews, we mentioned that it's 16 to 17% of the total segment, and it's still growing, right? The pickup truck segment, because we see that a lot of customers are really realizing the benefit of owning and driving a pickup, right? Starting with a Ranger lineup all the way to the Ranger Raptor, and now we have seen that potential. We are bringing this with the F-150. We are very excited, actually, to introduce the F-150 and the clamor from the launch. Though we've seen the temperature from the launch, the comments of the people, even our customers, our dealers. We're very excited with. We have two variants to choose from: a 4x2 and a 4x4 variant to choose from. So we feel that since the pandemic there are a lot of considerations, but I guess who knows what the right time is until you jump into it, right? So this is really for us, a good time for us to offer the F-150 to our customers. It's both workhorse, utility, and lifestyle. There is a growing lifestyle segment for pickup trucks here, right? Of course, the hauling and the towing capabilities are all there. It's built for tough, so we're very excited. I mean, it's something that you can use not just for a daily drive, not just for your workhorse, but it's an all-around car. And I'm very confident that for the clamor and the demand of this pickup truck, and finally, we have it back again in the Philippines.
Well said. Now, of course, also one of the important things, if people don't know it yet, is that Ford Philippines is effectively the country's leading pickup supplier, because you guys have 15 models in your very big lineup. Of course, as Uma Shankar mentioned, you start from the manual Ranger
XLS.
up up to the platinum. Is it the platinum
The
4x4?
Platinum 4x4. Yeah, super
Yes.
true.
So is there a maybe the question is there a deliberate measure or deliberate effort for you guys in Ford Philippines to beef up the pickup portfolio? Is there something that you see in our market, aside of course from the fact that pickups in general will benefit from excise tax relief from the train law, of course?
That's okay.
And speaking of the train law, does the F-150 also benefit a bit from that?
Well, to answer your most recent question first, yes, I think the F-150 also benefits from the new auto excise structure, it being a pickup truck. No? And of course, the reason why the auto excise structure favors pickups is because it's really meant for to be used for workhorse, for utility in the provinces, no? Helps for livelihood, especially in other areas, agricultural areas, agricultural sector. And now more than ever, it's really that time to do that, right? To really help those sectors to really be back in on their feet after this tumultuous time in our economy. And this is really, again, that also brings us to the timing of really introducing a pickup that will really serve its purpose and help our customers in those areas really get back on their feet. Those working in the agriculture sector, farming sector, who really need a hauler, so to speak, um, like the F-150 pickup. There is a deliberate effort, yes, definitely for us. Trucks is an expertise by Ford Motor Company, and we are very much aware of that. And in the Philippines, we understand that we cater to to a very big market from Class A all the way to Class D. So there's really a very good opportunity for us to really offer a product that has different price points, that caters to different budgets, that caters to different needs. That's why we have this 15 variants from the Ranger XLS manual variant, which is available at a below 1 million price point, all the way to a 2.9 million 4x4 Platinum F-150. So you can really see the depth and the depth of the product offerings that we have for the Ranger pickup. And it's really coming from a very good business case, that it's really meant to cater to all customers, all pickup customers. We do not alienate customers. For as long as you need a pickup, regardless of what your budget is, we have a Ranger for you.
Oh, well said, well said. Um, what's next for Ford? Like, I know I always ask you to give me a sneak like or information about your next launch, but I know we can't do that. But probably generally, are you guys looking at bringing in more vehicles, additional vehicles, refreshed vehicles? Let's just talk about, let's say, until the end of the year. Is there something still in store for our for your customers, for your fans, for the fans of the brand?
Well, actually, the vehicles that we introduced are primarily based on the pulse of the customer. We always listen to to not just the customer, but to a wide range of stakeholders. Our dealers, we also work with them in terms of the feedback that they get. They're the ones on ground. They're the ones who really talk to the customer, to really listen to the customer. They tell us what sort of vehicle really are being looked forward to at this time. So we really listen and take customer feedback seriously. That's why we have the Everest Sport. That's why we have the F-150, that we've introduced over the last 2 months. In terms of the way we do launches, the digital platform will always be there. I think until the end of the year. That's a new normal that we have to be accustomed to. Of course, with our media friends, we continuously try to keep the ante every time, innovate the way we actually introduce our vehicles. That's a challenge that we've also set upon for ourselves. In terms of new vehicles, I think it's safe to say that for now, we have those two great vehicles at this time. But please be, we want to keep the excitement to all our customers. But what's really good at this point is we really listen to what you have to say. Please keep us connected. Please reach out to us. There is a lot of conversations happening between ourselves and our dealers, our customers through social media. We read them, the feedback. We've actually read some years back that they wanted the F-150, and probably that's really one of the sources, of information that we have why the F-150 is now being sold to Ford dealerships starting today. And who knows that there are some more in the pipeline, but at this point, we want our customers to enjoy our Ford Everest Sport and F-150. And please do reach out to us, especially if you want more vehicles to be introduced in the Philippines soon.
I always enjoy the way that you don't answer my question by answering it.
Yes, we know each other for a long time, so you know how it's gonna go, Cap.
You're unbreakable, and I commend you for that. But yes,
Yes.
definitely I'm personally, I think you guys will be launching something because I saw the way that you smiled when you were talking earlier. So 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 well, best of luck, of course, to Ford Philippines, and congratulations on being the first, of course, number one, for being the first in this new normal, for because it's really it's a leap of faith in a way, right? It's a leap of faith to trust that, people will be there eventually. They will go to the showrooms, or even digital showrooms for that matter,
Mhm.
um and still buy cars, buy vehicles. And that's something that we've seen in other markets as well, that have opened in this pandemic or COVID-19 era. But yes, again, congratulations for the Ford Everest Sport, and of course for the Ford F-150. I think you guys have also been evolving in the way that you're doing your digital launch. So kudos to you guys.
Thank
And
you so much. Thank you.
yeah, last word from you before we wrap this up.
Yeah, basically, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, for giving us, this space and this platform to also talk about how we're doing. We've been doing very well at Ford. So over the last 2 months, of course, we have introduced two new vehicles for our customers to enjoy and to experience: the new Ford Everest Sport, and of course, the F-150, which is part of the F series, which is, of course, as we all know, it's America's best-selling truck, and it's now here in the Philippines. And we'd like to really invite all our customers, all fans and enthusiasts of Ford vehicles, to really check out these vehicles in our Ford dealerships, which are now almost all open, of course, open to serve you, for you to check out all our vehicles. Of course, if you feel that you're still not comfortable going out of your homes, our Ford dealerships, you can also reach out to them in their various hotline, digital platforms, social media channels. They're all there to take in your questions and queries, and they'll be happy to really serve you for whatever platform you're comfortable to deal with them and connect with them. Yeah, so thank you again for giving us this opportunity, and please be safe, Cap, and to all your viewers out there.
Oh, thank you very much. And EJ was talking about, of course, none without we should not promote contact, right? And if you're still not confident about it, of course, and of course, you have your own digital platforms. Please share them with our viewers. Of course, you have
Yep.
ford.com.ph. Is that right?
To our website, you can also go to our website. That's ford.com.ph. Actually, you can already transact with our website for whatever product query, vehicles, our website. We've actually put up our F-150 website just today. If you're interested, but you feel like you don't want to go to a dealership just as yet, but we can assure you that if you feel like visiting a Ford dealership at this time, it's safe. They're sanitized. They're cleaned. 3 times a day, and we're very happy to accommodate you in our dealerships. But of course, our digital platforms are there. You can also visit our social media pages on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're all there. And of course, you can call us in our hotline, in our customer relationship center hotline, in case you have queries about your vehicles. That goes to our after sales services for our customers.
All right. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much, EJ Francisco, AVP for Communications of Ford Philippines. Now, if you have additional questions for me or for EJ, you can please comment below this post, and we'll try to answer your questions. So for now, again, thank you very much, EJ. And on behalf of Zigwheels Philippines and Carmudi Philippines, this has been Cap Maceda Aguila, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you very much.